I will create a component here in Joomla, a hello world component. So in this tutorial I'm not going to talk about versions control, namespaces and token. In order to create this component, I'm using this plain small template here, consisting of 3 items, 2 folders and 1 manifest file. And this manifest file is going to tell Joomla how to install these files and folder in correct places during the installation procedure. This folder here is having the backend software to be installed. It is one file, consists of one small text string only. We are not going to pay attention to the backend software in this tutorial. In this folder, site folder, the software to be installed in the front-end site is collected. It consists of 2 folders and 2 files. We are going to discuss these folders and files later, after this template is installed in Joomla. It is easier to do it there, because then we can make changes to the files and see how Joomla is reacting to that. So now we are going to collect all those 3 items here and make a zip file of it. And this zip file we will copy into the installation area in the backend site of Joomla. And here we see that the component is successfully installed. Going to this components list, we see that hello world is here. Pressing the component, then we see the hello world administration text is shown here, and that's all we do with the backend software. So we leave it like that. In the main menu item, we will install a menu item for starting this component in the front end. We have added some code in the manifest file to do so. So we press this button here, and then we select this hello world component, and here's the menu item, and pressing this one, and we have to put a label in the menu in order to start it, and that is get. We save this and close it, and now we go into the front end view, and here we see that the menu item is installed and the hello world text string is appearing here. So now we have successfully installed the template into the Joomla for the hello world component. And now we are going to make some code and develop this component further. In order to have a look into the code, we enter the Microsoft Visual Code Editor, and the hello world component is installed in this front end with those 4 items we have seen in the template. So now when you press the button menu for this component, it is this file here, hello world file, which is going to be processed first. So the code in this file tells that the control is passed is redirected into this controller, which is described here. And here is the hello world controller class. There is nothing here yet, so this class is empty now, and this class is taking care of all the tasks and process all the tasks which is going to be used here. So now the control is passed to this view folder and this view file here. Reason for that we can see in the backend software of the Joomla. In this menu item get, we have a link telling that the view statement is used here. Then that's why this view file is processed now. And looking into this file, we see that the hello world text is here. It is allocated to a message variable in this hello world view get class. And here is also a method display, which is going to display these measures in a template, which is found here in this template folder. And it is this default file which is going to be processed now as the default template. Going to this file, you see that this message is echo in the front end side. That we can see here. So now we have installed this component hello world completely successfully. we now like to get some code into this component then. So go into the editor. We like to add some HTML code like this here. This is a button tag with an ID my button, and it is a label send Ajax request, and that is the starting point to make a Ajax query, which is going to make requests to the backend server in order to get some responses, which is going to be shown here in this div tag area. So now we're going to save this code and see what's happening in the front end then. So looking here, update it, and we see now that this button appear here. So in order to see what's going on in the back end here, we activate this inspect routine and go to this console here, and pressing the button again, we see that there is no reaction, no responses for that yet here. In order to achieve that, we had to add some more code though. So the code we like to add now is some JavaScript code like this. JavaScript is running in the front end at the client computer, and the PHP and HTML is running in the backend server. So they are running on two different environments, those two things. So in order to make connection between the JavaScript and the PHP, we're using the Ajax protocol in this query here. So now we save this code and see what's going on then in the front end. So going back to the front end, update it, pressing the button, and now we see that we have got some response here, but it is an error message because this task get is not found. There is no code for that task yet, so we have to add that task then in the code. So going to the controller. The controller is the file to take care of all the task responses. So we have to create a method here called function get. That's the name of the task, and the code we like to add here is only a tracking code and echo statement to show that we have entered the controller and the get task, and we add and carriage return here as well, like that, and save that and go to the front end and see if we got some responses to that. Update the page, click in the button, and now we see we have got this controller get task text string which we added to the code, but we have also got some garbage view here we don't like to have, so we had to add a code line for that to prevent that. So we're going to put this line here. This command will close the application to run after this echo statement is issued. So we like the process to stop there after this echo statement. So now we save the file and see what's going on. Update it, pressing the button, and now we see only the text we added to the code is showing here, and in the back and also in the debug area. So that was just what we want then. So here we have a response from this get menu, which is a view response, and this view response has a template, the default template, showing what we see here. If you press this button, we get this task response, and the result of that task response is shown here, called controller get task. It is the controller who take care of the task responses, and that's processed here. So there are much more options to show things in the front end in a view response, because we have different templates. We have the default templates used now, and even more features had to be introduced later about view. So view responses are very suitable, very well designed to show things in the front end here, but the task response is much more suitable to do processing work in the back end. So if you like to change this response from this button here to also a view response, we can do that by changing the code, going to the editor and change this code in the default template here for the get view to view. Change task to view, like that. We save that one, and now we like to go to the front end and see what's going on here. Update it, pressing this button, and now we see this is going to happen. And what is this? Yes, this menu response is a view response with a default template, and now we have a view response here also. But in the code, if you look into the code, we see that we have a get response here also, like in the menu. So we have to change this to something else, because now we get the same response as in the first case here for the menu. So the menu and the button has the same view response. That's why we have also for the button get view response. So we have to change this to something else. We have to have another view, for example a button view, which you have to introduce now. We call it a button, and then we make a copy of this get view, paste it in the parents folder view here. So now we have two views, get from the menu, and this is the copy of that one, and that we like to associate with the button then. So we change this name here of this view to button, like that. Well, then we have to make some more changes here also in the folder. This file here has a class definition for hello world get view get. That has to be changed to hello world view button then. That's the name of the folder here. So here in the title of the view, we can have that we have button view, and the control is passed further to this template, and that's the same default templates as earlier. But we can save this code now and see what is happening now. And going to here, update the page, pressing the button, we see that we got into the button view now from this get view from the menu. So menu have the get view shown here, pressing the button, we have a button view, but this is the same template still as in the first case. So the both views has the same templates, the default templates. So we like to change these templates for this button then. And to do that, we go to the code again and change and in this button view in the template folder there's a default PHP code, and that could be different from the first one in the get. In order to do that, we can change the code here to something else in this code here. So we can delete all this code here and enter some other code, and the example of HTML code, template code we like to add here to see that something different is approaching for this button view is this code here. If you save this code, we are not going to discuss this code further because it's an example actually for what we can do differently. So going to the front end, pressing the get view, and here's the get view with the default template here, and pressing this button here, we get a different view. That is the button view, and we have a default template here, but this default template is in the view folder, so we can have a different code here in this default view suitable for this bottom view. So we have something here which is some garbage code we like to avoid. So to make it perfect, we have to remove this also. We go into the code, and after this form code here in HTML, we add another line to close the application to run, and that is this line here. But this is a PHP code, so we have to add a tag for that here as well, and that is this tag here, PHP, and we have to close it also here, like that. So this one we save, and then we go back to the front end again, pressing this update, pressing this button, and now we see we got a bottom view for the bottom here, and a different default template made for this bottom view. There is an additional feature in the view concept we also like to discuss, and that's the format statement in the query. So in that case, we have to enter the editor, and in this views we have got here, we have got two views now. In this get view, we can enter change this URL here and add a statement of format here. Let's say that we'd like to have a CSV format of this output here. So saving this one here, and now going to the front end, pressing the button, we get an error because we have to add some more code for this format CSV option there. So to enter the code for that one, we have to copy this view file, because now it's a different view according to this new format CSV. So we're copying this file, pasting it back to the same folder, and change the name of the file to view.csv, like that, .php. And in this code we can write CSV format for the get view. So after that we can enter the default template as we do here now. That could be the next step. So going to save this file, update it, pressing this one, and now we get an error message because we haven't got this format CSV file. The reason for this is that we have a view like bottom. We have a bottom view here in the error message, and that is not what we wanted. So we have to get back to the code to this template for this get view and change this view to get the same view as we have got here, and save that one, going to the front end, pressing the button and pressing the button here, and now we see that we have got a CSV format for this get view with the same template is going to be shown here. So now we have been staying in the same view, get view, the both cases, both from the menu and from the bottom here. So we have to change the template though for this second usage of this view, this get view. So in order to do that, well, we have to go here in this CSV file and enter a different template here, like TPL, like, well, we can call it CSV template. So now the default template here is changed to a CSV template. So save this one, but then we have to create that template here in this template folder for the get view. And we do that by copy this default template to another file in the same folder, and here's a copy of it, and we change that to CSV, which we suppose is the name of this CSV template, and we save that one. But in this file we have to do some changes to recognize that we have got this template. So in this template we like to delete all this query code and put in the same code as earlier, and that is this code here, like that. Saving this code, going to the front end, update it, pressing the button. Templates and with different formats. It's a very clever solution actually. Back to the case where we have a simple get task processed by the controller, like we can see it in this code, in this templates code here, task like get. So we like to test if it's possible to have a format option here. So we added the code format like CSV here also, like in the view statements. But now we are testing it in the task responses. So saving this file and going back to the front end, update it and pressing this button now. And then we see there are no response to take care of the new format setting. But it's possible to add some code for that. So going to the controller, which is taking care of this get function task response, we can add some code here like this. So here we see that we have a variable here within the input link string from the menu, and extract that format setting here, saving it in this format variable, and it is confirmed by this echo statement here. And if that format is CSV, then we have a CSV processing also, indicating here only by a echo statement. We have to do some processing work here, different from this in the production product, but here we are only showing where we are stepping into it at any time. So we are only using a CSV statement here. If you save this code and going to the front end again, update the site and pressing the button, we see that we got the response for this format CSV, and in the case we have that, we have also the processing of it here, showing only by this echo statement here in this controller get task method here. The next issue we'd like to discuss is the usage of subcontrollers. In the case of using task, doing processes work in the backend, all tasks are coded in the controller file, and that could be heavy loaded if many tasks is going to be processed. So we have another solution of that. That's the use of subcontrollers. All tasks can be moved into these folders here. We have already installed a file here called get in this controllers folder, and how this works can be shown in this template we have got here, the default template for this get view. Instead of this code we have got here for the URL, we can have a notation with a dot in it, and a code like get data, like that. In this case, with a dot usage, with a get task, we have to use a task usage here also. It is task to be processed, but in this case we have task like get dot something. This file is going to be processed over here, the name get. That's the name of the task. Inside this file we have a hello world controller get class, nothing in it. But if we now add a method here, function called get data, that's the second term of this statement we had earlier, and have a declaration of that one to process this task with this method get data. We can echo a statement here telling that we have entered this subcontroller get with the method sub data. No, sorry, get data, like that, with a cage return, like that. And now I'd like to see what happened now in this code. Going to the front end, update again. In this view, get view, we press this button, and now we see we have this response, subcontroller get method get data. The response came from this subcontroller get file in the method get data. So then we have processed that task in the subcontroller folder with the get .php file. We have some garbage still here which we will not see in this view, so we had to add that same code as earlier in the get .php file, and we do that here in this file here. We add this code. This code here. So this code closed the application to run after this statement is issued. So going back now, we save that. Save it. And going back to the front end, updated. And now pressing the button. And now we see only this response we like to see with this task processing work. Here, this echo estimate has to be changed, of course, with a more proper code in a productive product for this Joomla software. But in this tutorial we are only going to show where we are at any time, at any step, so we are satisfied with that. So now we have seen that this subdirectory is taking care of all tasks. So in this case the processor task is moved from the controller file into the subcontrollers directory, and each task is processed by its own file here. It can be heavy loaded sometimes with heavy code, so it's very suitable to do so. There is no template in task responses, but I'd like to discuss if there is any format option for that, and there is. So we'd like to introduce that also here. Go into the code and to this default template here again for this get view. We can add in this statement here a format issue, like this format, like CSV. So in order to add some code here, we go to the get subcontroller here, and we copy this file and paste it back in the same folder. Now we have a copy of that task file, and what to do now is to change the name in the very common syntax in Joomla here to get CSV. That's the format of this get task versions of the task. So here we can add some additional code in the echo statement that show that we have got into this format, CSV format. So we haven't got our own file here in the task controller folder for taking care of the CSV format of the get task. So now we'd like to save this and see how that's going to be accomplished, and update the site, pressing the button, and now you see that we have entered the subcontroller get file with the method get data with the CSV format. So we have entered the other get task format then. So that concludes that we can use also here a different format option for the task responses. So that's very clever. We are now very happy with what we have achieved with the coding process so far, and we like to have a copy of the production files into the templates file where we installed from. So in doing that, we apply this instance of file manager. This is the production site where the Hello World components are stored, and here are the 4 items we have modified now in the production area. We like to copy those from there back to the templates area, and these 4 files and folders are to be stored in this side folder here. So we paste this into the folder and replace all different files to be updated with the new ones here. So in order to confirm what we have got here, we get into this view folder and get view, and here we see we have those different modified files now made in the production area. So it seems to be okay then. So now we have an updated versions of the template going to be used later in another installation of this component. The last issue we like to discuss is the installation of another menu item here. Here's the get menu item. For demonstration purposes, we like to have a copy of that one to a push menu item and do some modification and see how we can do that, because this get menu option could be a template for the next menu option. So in order to achieve such a solution, we can go to this code, and so we copy this get folder get folder and paste it into the view folder. So now we have 2 views here. This get views is the first one which we had done, and this is the copy of that one. So we change this name here to the name of the next menu item, and that is push, like that. And in order to make a new menu item of this one, you have to go to the template folder and to this this manifest file here, because this file is giving Joomla instruction how to install this menu item. The get is used already, so I have to change that to push, and we have to get a push here also instead of push, like that. Save this one, and that's sufficient to install it. We had to make some other changes also in this push folder. So this views here had to change these class name definitions from get to push here to make it work. So we make a copy of that word, go into this other folder here and do the same change here, like that. Save it, and that's pretty much it. So we now can save this and go to the back end software of Joomla, going to the menu, main menu function, and get a new select high-level component, and here we are. Here is the push menu item. It can be installed now, giving it a name with a label in the menu system, push, like that. Save and close that, and have a look in the front end now, update it, and now we see got this push memory element here, push. So we have the same, we have a copy of everything here from push, so we got the hello world here also. And if we push this button here, we get this get thing from the copy code. So that had to be changed. So in order to make this correctly, you have to go to this for controllers also, and make copy of those two files, paste it back, and change the name to push CSV, and go into the file and change this class hello world control definition to push, and now we can write subcontroller push, and so we have to do with the other file here, copy that one also and paste it back and change the name to push, and then we have to change the class definition also to push, and subcontroller push, like that. Now we can see what is, if that is okay with the task definitions, and go into the front end, update it, pressing push, and here push. Now we see that we have got something is not saved here. Push, save, push CSV, save, try again. No. Reasons that we have got get still, I suppose it is the found in these views, push template, default template. Here is a get statement, and that's wrong. It had to be push here. Push in the subcontroller, looking for the get data method for the format CSV. So now we like to see if that is sufficient to make it work. Update the page and press the button. Now we have push method get data in a CSV format. So now we have updated the task issues for this new push element. Getting this one, get, and now we get there. You have to do the same changes in the view also. So in the views here, for the push element, we have to test it by changing the code for the template, default template here. We have to make a view response for the push. We can remove this and try to show this one. Push, press button, and here we got this for the get view. That's wrong. We have to change the code for that manner also. So in this get template for the push, we have to write in these files here. This is the push default view. Save that one, and this is the CSV format for the push view. Now we update that one and see how that will go back. So now we see that this is the push view. So now we see that in the subcontroller folder we have a number of files here taking care of every versions of all these push and gets. So here we also see that could be a benefit to be care of what we call these views here, because now we see that this get thing and this push things is associated with many items in different formats here for the task processing, and in these views we have those views for the task processing. It's more convenient to do it in that way. So now we are done with this tutorial.